So when I was in my early 20s, I had the opportunity to study in the south of France, and it was an amazing experience. I studied painting. It was at a very small school with only about 8 students, and we were studying with these old hippies. They were very interesting kind of expatriate kind of people. And it taught me a lot about light and form and composition and color and process. Just the process of painting was a really great experience. And I was able to travel and study art history, and it was the time of my life. I knew it would be a magnificent experience. My name's Clay Patrick McBride. I'm an artist and educator. I've been working here at Rochester Institute of Technology for the past 6 years. I don't even know. I guess one of my first big breaks was when I did a cover for Time magazine, and in like 1997, I'd just gotten out of school, and I was working in a very different style than I do now. I was working with collage technique and photo illustration. I guess my favorite client would have to be probably Metallica. You know, like growing up, I listened to a lot of heavy metal, and they were like one of my most favorite bands in the world. So I've had the privilege of working with them 4 or 5 times, and every time it's an epic experience. I love their music, I love their artistry, and it's been great working with them. So what makes a story worth telling? And I believe everyone has a story, and they're all very worthwhile, but our challenge as image makers and as artists and storytellers is to get the audience to care about the story. You know, I think that's the challenge. How did I build my career? How did I put myself out there? You know, I say it's that the pictures are like bricks, and it takes a whole lot of bricks to build a house. And what's a house? A house is your body of work, your portfolio, you know? So it's a lot of small, invisible steps of late nights working in the dark room, tirelessly creating and refining and editing, and a lot of stuff that maybe people aren't aware of, a lot of failed pictures, a lot of failure, you know? But I think, you know, the real secret is just having good relationships with people, you know? Like, I think my career was built on people meeting me, trusting me, and giving me the privilege and the access to, you know, some very radical kind of clientele that I've had over the years, you know? So relationships, I think, are key to success, you know, and to building a career. You know, it's relationships, referrals, and research. Those things are very important. You know, it looks a lot like an Irving Penn picture, you know, like if you've ever seen Irving Penn's pictures in the corner, you know. And I just wanted I had this little spot in the backyard of my studio that, to me, I started taking pictures in there, and you know, it was I did that work over a period of 2 or 3 days. It wasn't a big project or anything like that. So, so to me, it was a nod to Irving Penn, and it was trying to do something a little bit more exciting with the lighting than I think Irving Penn did. His lighting was very beautiful, but I was going for something a little bit more aggressive, and I don't know, I thought it would just be interesting, like Penn, to put people in a very confined space and see how they fill the space, what they do there, and how they occupy it, and how they present themselves, you know. Is anybody still with me? Am I speaking to today? So Ben's just gonna back it off, right? Did somebody say something? No? Ben's just going to back it off, move it further away from the subject. The distance of the light is going to control the intensity of the light. So Ben's just backing it off. Yeah, you know, I wish I worked with David Bowie, you know, I wish I worked with Kurt Cobain. I mean, there's a million people that have passed that I wish I worked with, you know, more so than I think people I'd like to work with. You know, I think the people who've left us, to me, that's sad to me that I wasn't a part of their legacy in some sort of way. I mean, I've been writing this crazy screenplay for a long time about my life and my family, and as much as it's written, I feel like it's very elusive, like producing a movie, you know? So that to me is maybe my magnum opus, or this very crazy brass ring I'm always kind of dreaming about reaching for, you know? But no, I mean, my work now is shifted, and it's really in the classroom that where my intention is, you know, where I'm bringing a lot of my passion to, yeah. Yeah, I find inspiration in so many things, but you know, I'm married, I live with an incredible creative person. My wife, Sarah, is an illustrator, and she can draw and paint, and she's constantly practicing, and so I'm very inspired by Sarah and our life, you know. I'm inspired by the work of my students and their commitment to their vision and artistry and education. You know, I find, you know, at the school, I think people really work. It's cool to work hard here, you know what I mean? The cool kids are the ones working the hardest, you know? And so, you know, when I see them late at night on social media, grinding away in the studios, you know, I'm reminded of when I was in college and doing the same sort of stuff. So I find that as an inspiration, you know. I love New York City. You know, I lived there for 30 years. I'm always going back to New York City for whatever, you know, the smell of the streets and the culture and the people and the diversity and the pace of it all. I love that, so I'm inspired by that, you know.